It's the first time ever that an asset like private credit has been publicly available on a permissionless blockchain. And we're also very excited, as the founder of Drift, to announce that we have launched a leverage strategy that boosts private credit yield from 9% to up to 17%. So let's dig into that. Reed.
In this portion of this video breakdown, I'll continue to go over and show you guys some documents and some opinions from high-end representatives from large organizations like Morgan Stanley, documents from the BIS, and we'll tap in and listen to some high-end representatives at large like institutions and asset management firms that are pretty much going to tell you guys that banks are about to be utilizing these lending and borrowing strategies, and that these banks and financial institutions are, for a fact, learning about these looping strategies in DeFi right now. And then they go on to talk about and announce platforms that Christine Moy is involved with in Apollo that are launching platforms where right now institutions can go and provide liquidity and, participate in looping strategies on the Solana blockchain right now. I also got, did you see what freaking Quant released, bro? I kind of want to get into this as well. Did you see what Quant announced this week with Fusion? Do you follow Quant at all?
No, I don't even hold it, to be honest with you. I used to hold it. I know. I should probably get some Quant again, bro.
All right, well, check this out. I might make you a little bullish on Quant if I go over this, but I'll integrate Quant in there and just show you guys. So this kind of portion of the video breakdown will show you guys some stuff there that Ripple's participating in DeFi institutionally. Quant is also, shifting their portion of their mindset to institutional DeFi. And so I'm just going to continue to show you guys proof that it's this idea that institutions are for a fact interested in DeFi. Why, as a retail investor, now having shown you guys proof that we can operate on a level playing field, would you not be interested? Okay. Given the fact that all the assets that you probably hold already are focused on institutional and retail DeFi, right? So let's dive into that. So let's start here. So we got the CYPRX Research Labs team. If you guys don't follow them on X, go give them a follow. They're always posting out good, juicy documents from regulated entities. But they reposted something that I posted. And I said, this is only coming from the ex-head of digital assets at Morgan Stanley. No big deal. And this is a LinkedIn post. He said down here, traditional finance capital will seek the returns of DeFi opportunities. He also said, TRADFI institutions will increasingly leverage and interact with DeFi tech. And he said, regulation and technology will evolve to support this shift, right? And so this is when he left Morgan Stanley to go and build his own DeFi platform, I think, right? So remember last week we were covering this. He says, now I want to go build a product and technology to shape that future. We talked about this last week, right? So that's just one example of high-end representatives having an aha moment, okay? They're paying attention and they're waking up to this. The BIS just put this document out. And in last week's video, we showed you guys, remember we did the Alice journey breakdown, right? That was last week.
Yep. The simulation.
We showed the BIS integrated with Ripple, announced something with PeerSys, and they were talking about Alice's journey in the document. We go plug that into freaking Gematria, and it says back, XRP, XLM, XDC. Come on now.
Mind blowing, bro. Mind blowing.
In this document, BIS working paper number 1268 or 1268, Monetary and Economic Department. I said here, if you read kind of the plain text, this is from May 2025. Everyone talks about DeFi being unregulated, messy, or unaccountable. Yet the Bank of International Settlement, the BIS, just released a working paper that quietly legitimizes its future. The BIS research introduces VTVL, Verifiable Total Value Locked, a new standard for measuring value in DeFi using only on-chain data, eliminating manipulation. They audited 939 DeFi protocols on Ethereum, showing that DeFi can be transparent, standardized, reproducible, verifiable. This is not just accidental. It is the BIS's blueprint for integrating DeFi into real financial infrastructure. This document shows that DeFi is moving from chaos to compliance within the backing of the monetary authorities. This is huge. This is real alpha. This document physically proves they are for a fact paying attention to DeFi and figuring out a way to integrate it in a compliant fashion into the backend financial infrastructure, right? So this just kind of goes hand in hand with what we showed last week. And since we're on the topic of Ripple, right? Well, if we come up here, this is a recent conference that's going to be taking place in just a couple of days. And again, the CYPRX research team, we're going to be tuning into this. We're probably going to find a live stream. We're going to watch all 8 hours of the content and get all the good, juicy stuff, because this is where the next, major forum of these large banks are going to be talking at. This is the first week of June, the Crypto Valley Conference 2025, June 5th through the 6th. And, you can see Ripple right there. I know it's kind of small, but they're right down there at the bottom. And on this Crypto Valley conference, one of the key topics, if we scroll right down here, is staking and yield generation. Let me zoom in. Says it right there. Stablecoins, real-world assets, staking, yield generation. All right. So, they're paying attention to this stuff. I highly suggest that you guys, again, just go out and do your research and pay attention to this stuff as well. And if you remember, May 27th, 2025, this is a post from Ripple themselves, stablecoin use cases. What are they used for? And in it, they're specifically talking about how on the XRP ledger, RLUSD integrates seamlessly with native features such as auto bridging and built-in decentralized exchanges, enabling efficient trading and on-chain settlement without the need for complex smart contracts. This makes it ideal for institutional DeFi. Use cases like lending, cross-border transactions. What did Aqua just say a second ago, right? On the Metal XDEX right now, you can go as a retail investor, and instead of going out and buying your real estate property, when you become a XRP millionaire by lending from the bank, you can just lend out XRP, borrow against it, never have to sell your XRP when you become an XRP millionaire, keep your XRP, and use the collateral that you pull out, or like, it's crazy. This is crazy.
Good, bro. This is mad crazy, bro. This is dude, June is gonna be a juicy ass June, because we got that, which was the 5th and the 6th, and then we got the Apex June 11th, 12th, and 13th, if I'm not mistaken. And what's dope too is Hugo Filion is going to be speaking there as well. Apex is going to be lit this year, bro. Whatever they say on the stage this year, I feel like is going to be like some massive stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some news that week from Ripple themselves on stage, type of thing, bro.
Yeah, I'd definitely be tapping in. We should try to go to Apex 2026. I'd be so down for that.
Dude, I'm down. Wherever it's at. They change it every year.
Yeah, I'm definitely for sure down for that, bro. May 22nd, 2025. Then this is just to combat those people that are like, oh, this isn't regulated. I just get those people all the time, the skeptical people. I get it. People still living in the mindset of 2022. I did for a while, but once you kind of realize that's outdated, you kind of overcome that fear. Schumann Financials Europe becomes the first MiCA-compliant Euro stablecoin integrated on the XRP ledger. This just took place May 22nd, 2025. And they specifically mentioned this digital asset being able to, be utilized on DeFi applications. It says here, Europe and I just say Europe, however it's said, on the XRPL combines the resilience of global blockchain with Euro native liquidity and compliance at its core. This will give Europe and Euro-dominated financial markets an integral infrastructure for the next wave of financial institutions, which is happening on-chain, says Martin Brunko, the founder and CEO of Schumann Financial. This integration brings a Euro-native settlement asset to the XRPL, an institutional-ready Layer 1 blockchain. Over the past decade, the XRPL has processed over 3.3 billion transactions. This Europe digital asset, the stablecoin, will enable use cases including DeFi applications and tokenized real-world assets. This is massive. This is just more physical proof that we're going to be able to do this not only on regulated digital assets, but on institutional-ready Layer 1 blockchains like the XRPL. This is crazy. I mean, I'm not in Europe, but if you're in Europe, you should 110% be paying attention to this.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, bro, like the amount of liquidity, like with real world assets is going to be coming in is going to be mind-blowing, bro. Mind-blowing.
This is a video breakdown. So I'll start just showing real fast the video clips of it's 3 different panels, all from within the last week or two. And each individual stems from a large organization. I'm not going to waste time to go over each of their credentials. You guys can check for yourself. If you look down at the bottom, you can probably see the title of the video and go watch it. So just understand that these are all ideas and concepts coming from important people in the space. They talk about how banks will lend and borrow. Me and Aqua already discussed and talked about how that's possible right now if you choose to take the risk and do the research, obviously, of course. Assess your personal risk and your own, approach properly, but it's possible, right? Then they talk about how banks are interested in looping DeFi strategies. And then the conference that we're going to go over with Christine Moy here, this is literally from 7 days ago. And this lady from Drift, the institutional platform built on Solana, where they can go out and loop Solana strategies right now, says that this is a historic moment in crypto. And then Christine Moy and Cindy Lowe talk about looping strategies for banks on stage. So I'm just going to play all of these videos and we'll just kind of talk thoroughly through this. But this is just physical proof. When I'm showing you guys these Ripple documents and fundamentals and saying that this is all happening, this is not just my opinion. I'm actually going to show you guys systemically important people's words telling you all that this is happening historically for the first time ever, So check this out. Let's listen to this real fast. Let me go back. Sorry, excuse me. This first video breakdown, the future of digital assets, this gentleman here mentions that nobody wants to hold ETH without staking. Like no institutions want to hold these digital assets without having the ability to stake them. Listen to what he says here.
Coinbase International is sort of bringing their derivatives market onshore. So that is becoming available to the institutions that are happy with the registration of Coinbase and so on. And all the other venues that are, historically we've considered offshore and maybe high risk, and we thought about custody solutions for them and so on. All of those venues are trying to register in the States, and all of those venues are now really making an effort under this administration to basically really provide the breadth of the market as opposed to just the depth of the market. And that's really been missing. So that's been missing from the ETF perspective. Like the ETFs don't have staking. Like nobody wants to hold ETH without staking.
So he just said nobody wants to hold ETH without staking. And right now, because of the change of administration, all these offshore, businesses and all these offshore organizations and all these things that have happened offshore now all coming back to the United States, and they want staking, bro. They want staking. They know that they could go get freaking 6%, 8% on their freaking ETH through a staking ETF package. Like they're not going to sleep on that. Go ahead.
6% is a lot, bro. Like that's a guap when you're talking in M's, bro. Like that's a whole different story. When you talk operating in M's, I know some people are like, man, 4%, 6% is not a lot. Well, most people who hold Ethereum already made it. They were holding it when it was 75 cents. You know what I mean? So now they get to hold it with millions of dollars in their wallet. So like same thing with XRP, 5, 6, 7% staking opportunity with XRP. When you become an XRP multimillionaire, man, I'll take that passive income over going and just blowing my money. And I'll just, you know what I mean? You got to live within your means of that stream of income. It's all about cash flow, guys. You guys want to, level up? It's cash flow, cash flow, cash flow, cash flow.
I could not agree more, man. It's pretty crazy that, more people aren't paying attention to this. So I'm going to play this video clip. Let me know. Just give me a thumbs up, bro, if you can hear it. But this is the gentleman. We're going to go into the loop reel of them talking about how banks are interested in lending and borrowing and providing looping strategies and whatnot. So I'm going to play 3 different videos. So just let me know a thumbs up if you can hear it.
It's global. And these are all properties that I see with stablecoins too. Like currently to send a wire to Africa is slow, is expensive. A lot of fees are taken out of it. And now to send a stablecoin payment to someone in Kenya is as fast as me sending it to you right here. And I think what that unlocks, the sort of instant settlements, the speed, the size of small transactions being financially feasible, just sort of really unlocks a way of transacting globally that really didn't exist before, just the way WhatsApp and tools like that unlocked a way of communicating globally that just really didn't exist before. And I think right now, banks and regulatory bodies are still a little scared of what this technology means for them. But I think over time, they'll embrace it and realize they can make money in different ways and use things that they're really good at, like lending, providing liquidity. All of those are important things, regardless if the speed of money goes up and the cost goes down.
So it was just talking about how lending, borrowing, providing liquidity, all of these things are important. And these financial institutions, as they onboard into the space, are going to continue to see that these things are important. And so if you don't understand those terms, right, or how to do those things, you're not paying attention to what the institutions are paying attention to, because they are. These institutions are not about to just come into the space and hodl. They want to provide, they want to be able to be earning yield. You know, these assets can't be some liability on their balance sheet that just experiences freaking 30%, 40%, 60% drawdown all the time. And during that drawdown, they can't generate any yield on those assets. So they're just non-profitable assets on their balance sheet. That's a bunch of jargon and bullcrap. No, that's not how it works. But then when you put a level of yield behind it, say, for example, you have an institutional whale in the future that has partnerships with XRP, or sorry, excuse me, has partnerships with Ripple, and, you know, wants to integrate and hold a lot of XRP for whatever systems and shit that they're going to be doing in the future with Ripple, and when the market drops 30% during a bear market, they don't want to sell that XRP. Well, guess what? In the future, they're going to be able to generate yield with that XRP. So that XRP, that idle dormant liability, right, turns into a productive yield-bearing asset, and that changes the whole game. Like, it literally provides another extra added layer of utility on said digital assets, like Bitcoin, like, you know, XRP, like Doge, like all these assets that have never had that ability before. Go ahead, Aqua. You're shaking your head.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, bro. Like this is a massive big deal. Like the hypothetical situation I broke down earlier is gonna be done by these big players, these big huge whales and institutions. Like, you best believe these, you know, these high rises in LA and high rises in New York are going to be tokenized, and whoever owns them is going to be able to use that liquidity to go and earn yield with that shit. Like, I mean, it's not rocket science, guys, once you start, you know, paying attention to this stuff. You know what I mean? So
this is a gentleman here. I don't remember. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find his credentials real quick. Okay, I'll save it for the sake of this video. Actually, wait, hold on. It might be right here. He is the co-founder of R3. All right. So, you know, if you've been in this space for a while, I don't need to break down who R3 is. Aqua, you unmuted your mic. Do you want to say something? Go ahead, bro.
yeah, I was just saying R3 Corda. We
Valley's
all
running
yeah, like the OGs know what R3 is. So yeah.
So this is the gentleman of R3 that you're going to be listening to. And again, this is not some influencer on the internet. He's the co-founder of R3, telling you guys that institutions are for a fact interested in these, you know, these DeFi primitives, these looping strategies, the ability to do these, you know, this change of money idea thing that's happening right now. These institutions are paying attention to it. So listen to what he says here.
A need to, you know, jump into public networks, but there is a lot going on within on-chain, the on-chain ecosystem, that I think that these institutions really have to get involved in. And I think interestingly, there's product that can be brought on-chain that could be very, very impactful, but it has to be done in the right way, because as Eric was saying, you know, DeFi has its trade-offs. Everything in life has trade-offs. This is the one thing I've learned in the 10 years of running a technology company, right? So what are the trade-offs that you can be okay with by participating on-chain? And also, if you're on-chain, you have to create these products that are composable and that can be put into DeFi strategies, can be looped, can be used in a way that borders on permissionless and could go beyond the borders of maybe what you can do today. So they're still trying to figure that out, but there's going to be more and more interest in that. I think importantly, right now, the on-chain economy is big enough for financial institutions to pay attention to and to try and bring product into. And I think you're going to see more and more of that over the next few.
So okay, again, the co-founder of freaking R3 just told you guys that these institutions are for a fact paying attention to these looping strategies in DeFi. These same things that me and Aqua are telling you guys about, where instead of freaking going out and buying a house through the normal way, lending against your assets, borrowing against your assets, you know, this is so monumental. It honestly gives me chills. If you're not paying attention to this stuff, it's pretty crazy. And then I'll full circle. This is these last two video clips, just to show you guys that this is all happening for the first time in history. You know, like, so all those people with this outdated mindset that this stuff isn't transitioning, we gotta, you know, we gotta help them. We really gotta help them transition, because You know, if you got a homie out there that's like, you're into DeFi and you're starting to pay attention to it, but you got somebody else that's like, nah, they're still stuck in this like outdated mindset, just try to motivate them, try to push them towards going and watching a panel discussion and tapping into these documents and seeing that it's every day something new in this space, and you got to tap in with it or you're going to get outdated. This technology transformation, it's moving so rapid and so fast. 1 week, you know, crypto's down and people talk shit about it, but then the next week you see the biggest partnerships in the game, and it just solidifies everything that's happening, and it constantly is going to happen over a prolonged period of time. So this is Cindy Liao from Drift, that institutional, you know, looping strategy that I just showed you guys, the platform that offers lending, borrowing, liquid staking with, or it's built out on the Solana blockchain. And it has access to institutions. It's partnered with Securitize and Apollo, right? So go look up who those organizations are. Christine Moy is going to tell you right now in this video, how, you know, Apollo has $750 billion of assets under management, and they're the ones sitting on stage partnering with this platform. So pay attention to what these people are saying.
Thank you so much, Nick, for also being the one bringing all of us here together. It's been a pleasure working with the both of you on bringing ACRET to Solana for the first time.
Absolutely.
So today is actually a very historic moment. Today is the day that Apollo's flagship credit fund is now live and tokenized on Solana via Securitize. So it's the first time ever that an asset like private credit has been publicly available on a permissionless blockchain. And we're also very excited, as the founder of Drift, to announce that we have launched a leverage strategy that boosts private credit yield from 9% to up to 17%. So let's dig into that. Reed.
She just publicly announced for the first time ever 7 days ago that institutions can earn 17% alongside retail traders, bro. This is huge.
I mean, think about it too, like this, like 17% is, again, that's a guap. I mean, for some people's minds, like you got to think, like, again, cash flow. Let's just say hypothetically you make $1 million. You have two options. You can stake it and earn 17%, which you're going to earn what, $170,000 a year at that point going forward, right? With opportunity with down the line further growth, or take that $1 million and then go and buy a bunch of just pointless things that once you're done buying shit, now you're back at square one and being broke again. Like, this is 17%, bro. Like, I'll take 17% all day, every day. You kidding me?
I mean, if any of these XRP riddlers are ever right, one day an XRP goes to $1,000 per coin, I'll tell you what, I'm going to be earning 10 to 17% with my XRP through these looping strategies.
Facts,
like,
bro. Facts.
You know, and so it's happening. I already showed you guys the proof that Ripple's integrating institutional and retail DeFi into their infrastructure. They're focused on it. It's undeniable. Regardless, listen to what Christine Moy here says. She goes on to talk about who's going to win, the people that build out on DeFi platforms. And she talks about how it's her mission right now to lead the banks to water, right? You have that, you know, what is that term I'm looking for? The ideology behind, I can lead a horse to water, I can't make them drink it, right? Well, at the end of this rant that Christina Moy goes on, by the way, this is the same lady from Apollo that we shared months ago, where she was talking about her looping strategy on Esicred, utilizing ENA and USDC to pay for her Nobu and earn yield up until the very last second in her digital wallet until she goes to spend her money. And now they're announcing this publicly for the first time. This is crazy, right? So listen to what she says here. I got two video clips. One of her talking about leading the banks to water. And then the second one, her going to talk about, or sorry, it's actually the conversation goes back to the other lady from Drift. And she talks about how they provide looping strategies to institutions. So listen to what they say here.
If I might add, I think it's super interesting what you touched on, which is that when you have a DeFi engine, it actually doesn't matter if you're transacting hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, single millions of dollars, or just $50,000, which is the minimum. right? Like the technology is built and it's scaling, right? So like I think this is like a really fascinating thing, especially for those of you in the audience that have been in traditional finance and you know the cost basis of legacy systems and teams that have to support the businesses that exist today. And so, you know, I think we've moved away from blockchain for operational efficiency. That is certainly not the lead. The lead is around product innovation, meeting the next generation of crypto native investors like you. That's the main focus. But it's table stakes that it comes with a killer cost basis of near zero for incremental like business growth. And so when you think about like, and I think about it because I'll always be on the side of TRADFI. Like, I love you guys, but I feel like I have my place and this is my mission. But if you think about like a TRADFI institution that has that cost base, over time, as more assets move onto chain, as more assets are driven by DeFi, like Drift, who's going to win? Like if you can scale to millions and hundreds of millions without having the same number of operational team members and processes, without the same, you know, kind of engineering cost of any incremental feature, like what's that really going to look like? And so, you know, I'm skirting the edge. Take me, save me when time is end. But for now, like I'm doing my part to help lead traditional institutions to the water.
Absolutely.
DeFi is going to win, bro. Like she just said it. $750 billion assets under management. You know, it's not a game. This is all happening for the first time ever, and people are sleeping.
Yeah, bro. I mean, DeFi is going to give businesses new types of budgets too that they didn't have if they're utilizing DeFi correctly and utilizing a correct strategy. You know what I mean? But yeah, she is. Yo, she's hip too. She got the high top dunks on and shit.
Yeah, I was honestly peeping out her sneakers. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I was about to look them up and try and cop me a pair because they look exclusive, low key. Zoom. I'm gonna send you this link. Her sneakers look pretty cool. So the second or the third portion of this, they go on to talk about looping strategies for banks. And this is just crazy to hear because the same platform we have access to, and we've been tapping into looping strategies. And when we got Kev, the DeFi mentor, that showed how he's profitable on Aave with the looping strategy, bro. And even in the market, the craziest, like Kev's strategy has pretty much been battle tested. Think about it. He survived. He showed people how he stayed profitable during the biggest liquidation event in crypto. And he showed people how he stayed profitable during the largest hack in crypto. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know, so through a looping strategy, like the one that, you know, they're talking about here. But listen to what she says.
That is exactly the vision of early Solana. That is the vision of why we built a capital efficient DeFi platform, because we believe that all assets are eventually going to be used on the most capital efficient and programmable chain where they can actually coexist next to each other. We're just seeing the start of this now with a single private credit looping strategy. From DeFi terms, it's actually a very simple LST looping strategies, right? Like how many of you guys in the room loop your SOL LSTs in DeFi? I'm sure, you know, a lot of you are familiar with this strategy. Now imagine doing this with private credit. Imagine using your SOL LST to borrow stablecoins and invest into Christine's incredible private credit strategies. And that actually offers a differentiated source of yield that matches your crypto portfolio and gives you a fully diversified portfolio that doesn't only rely on crypto native yields. So ultimately, that's a big.
She's literally talking about double dipping, bro.
Yeah, bro. This is so exciting, bro. This is so exciting that like our conversations, literally, we've been like, man, this is so mind-blowing that the way they're describing it now too, like they were not describing it this way a year ago, 2 years ago, bro. They definitely were not, man. This is a whole new way to get up on stage and talk about things. You know what I'm saying? Not really speaking in code language. Like this is easily digestible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the lingo's definitely changed. Something has 110% shifted. I'll end the call here on this note because we're going on almost 2 hours now, bro. But since you don't really pay attention to quant, I personally do, not to shill it, but just to show you guys that just like algo, just like XRP or Ripple, XRPL, XRP, just like Solana, just like Hedera with the real world asset tokenization that they just announced, right? And you got the XRPL real estate tokenization in Dubai that was just announced literally a week ago. This is all happening for the first time ever, and it's extremely fast paced. And I get it, it's overwhelming, but we got to really, just pay attention to detail. And that's really all that it takes. And so Gilbert Verdian from Quant, I'll just show you real fast. It says announcing Overledger Fusion, the world's first layer 2.5 network for institutions and DeFi. And if we just scroll down to the meat of this, let's see if we can get my highlights on this real fast. Let's refresh it. Okay, so let's read this. It says, Overledger Fusion is powered by a flexible and incentivized network of trusted node operators fit for institutional use. It gives them decentralized control, improved node operations, determine which underlying blockchains to host, flexible onboarding, onboard new ledgers with ease via bring your own node and bring your own connector capabilities. And then down here, it says approved node operators of the layer 2.5 network can determine the underlying blockchains to host, expand the reach of the layer 2.5 network, and leveraging previous thinking and experiments in remote connect gateways from 2021, as well as rewards in quant. So institutions are about to be earning rewards in quant, and node operators can stake quant for transaction priority from the transaction their node processes. And I showed you guys a panel discussion that Gilbert Verdian was on in a closed door meeting that took place after that he was also a part of, where he collaborated with the central, the Bank of England. This is crazy. So it says the rollout of Overledger Fusion by Quant begins in June 2025. That's next month, y'all. This is all happening for the first time ever, with a phased delivery of core features and trusted node programs. Each release will expand capabilities, layering the foundation for a truly interoperable, scalable, and secure blockchain infrastructure tailored for institutional DeFi growth. That was a good one. And then this was also a post too. We'll throw this in there to wrap it up. But XLR, because we were talking about XLR earlier, they said together with the Strobe Finance, they are now the gateway to unlocking billions of idle XRP for DeFi. And if you guys remember what the gentleman, one of the co-founders from XLR said, listen to what he says here. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear this.
Is with XRPL. One very exciting integration that's coming up is with XRPL. And a lot of people are familiar with Ripple, the company. Many people are familiar also with XRPL, which is the XRP ledger, where the XRP currency resides. And they have a new initiative where they're launching a new EVM chain to bring DeFi to the Ripple ecosystem. They have a new stablecoin, and they're going to be using XLR to bridge over XRP from the XRP ledger to the XRP ledger sidechain. It's an EVM sidechain, so that people can use it for gas to use the chain. So anyone who's going to be using DeFi on the EVM sidechain of XRPL will have to use XLR to pay for gas. And we're talking about one of the biggest assets in the space. Again, $200 billion asset.
Crazy, bro. Anyone that uses the XRPL EVM sidechain for DeFi will have to utilize XLR for gas fees. And he said their integration with Ripple is to bring DeFi to the Ripple ecosystem.
Let's go. Yeah, man. XLR is mad bullish, bro. Not financial advice.
So, to wrap that all up, that's our Friday call for you guys today. I feel like we freaking did our due diligence. That was a fat freaking call. I get up, my computer needs a break. It's like breathing heavy. All these tabs and all these videos open. But yeah, guys and gals, 2,000 people on the call today. Really appreciate you all for coming out. If you guys enjoyed, if you're watching this as a recording, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. We do appreciate the love and the support. If anybody's interested in tapping in with the Well 28 Club, head over to CYPRXtrading.com, tap in with us. You guys can see how we are earning yield on our digital assets, full comprehensive DeFi university. If you guys want to tap into a community of like-minded individuals, you want to see all of these fundamental posts, you want to know where to find these documents, you want to watch these panel discussions, all these summits that take place that I showed you guys today that have 0 views, you can find all that research in our Discord, in the CYPRX research section. Come hang out with us, come tap in, come join a community of like-minded individuals that are all on the same path to just educate ourselves in this space as much as possible and survive beyond 2030. So blessings to you guys. As always, be cognizant, be aware out there. None of this is financial advice. Don't go out there and freaking buy algo, buy XLR, buy XRP. Don't none of that stuff. Just go do your own personal research and enlighten your minds on the transformative wave that is taking place at our very fingertips. So yeah, Aqua, that's all I got for you, brother. What's up, man?
Yeah, nah, man. Much love to everybody, and definitely tap in. Well, 28 Club, learn DeFi, baby. We just proved that DeFi is the heartbeat of crypto, as we keep saying. So, yeah, much love to everybody who tapped in with us. We really appreciate every single one of you guys.
Yeah, you guys take it easy. Everybody have a blessed week. Enjoy your weekend. Be productive and positive. Everybody have a good one.